Hi guys, it's Bill. So I know I've done this before, but it was kind of in the beginning and me doing my show, and I was like, it was kind of successful, but I need to practice it because I'm actually doing this. This is my Easter dinner, and I want to do something that I could kind of do up ahead of time, so that I can kind of just throw it together at dinner time, with company. And it's my version of pesto. And the first thing that comes to mind when I think of pesto is pine nuts. I don't like them. Well, I don't like them in pesto. So I never really like pesto. The other thing is, pesto can be really strong. So we're going to go through some little tricks here, get you on the right track to making a really, really great pesto. And one of the things that comes up is garlic. What do you do with garlic? Well, the fancy chefs roll and peel it, but there's a problem. Fancy chefs get to have somebody pre-sort all their garlic and all their everything that they cut up ahead of time on TV, so that there's no mistakes. They never cut open a bad avocado. You ever notice that? So I need about 6 cloves of garlic. So I got a bunch here. And I just want to show you how I deal with garlic, and hopefully it's going to go really easy so that you'll think this isn't a bad idea. And I'll show you some variations on how I do it. So the first thing I want to do is I cut both ends off, okay? And if you don't cut all the way through, it's okay, because it's going to help you peel the skin off, right? So now I'm going to peel it. And everyone's like, well, why don't you just like peel it and crush it? Well, I want to make sure there's nothing green growing in it, because there's nothing worse than garlic to me that has a little green stem, because it's already starting to get old. So that one passed the mustard. Let's see if I can have one fail the mustard. Oh, I might. Oh, look at that. Second one. So what do? Throw it out. Now, you don't have to throw it out. So what I do is I'm just going to cut it in half, right? And if you have a lot of garlic and you don't need it, that's fine. But all you need to do really is to pull that green stem out, right? And it goes down the disposal. So simple. Let's keep on trucking, see what other issues we run into. I'm just going to cut the ends off all of them right now. And you want to get far enough back that you actually are cutting something off, besides your fingers. Just be careful, it's okay. So one of the things I was noticing, I was watching other videos, other people. I can't say competitors because no one's as good as I am. But too much clutter. I can't stand clutter, so I need to clean this up before I make any more steps. Go down the old sink. Sorry about that. And I got my ones that I cut. And now let's just, oh look, another green one. I kind of thought so. That's what I was kind of hoping for. So once again, cut in half. And you know what? If you just have a little kitchen knife or a paring knife, you can do this too. It's going to make your fingers smell great all day. No more vampires. Okay. Normally I would do this over the sink, but I want to show you that's a good one. Make sure I got everything off it. Good one. This is going to go in the food processor. So one of the things I've learned is we're going to need to kind of do something with it so it processes quickly. If I can get this skin off. Sometimes that's the hardest part. Usually if you start at one of the ends that you've cut off, it's a little thicker so you can grab it. And of course, by the time you get done, your fingers are so sticky from garlic. Let's see that one. Perfect. Let's just start up here. And voila. And sticking to my fingers. So if you play baseball and you're a pitcher, just make sure you grab garlic and the ball will stick to your fingers. Alright, once again, let's clean up our work area. Look at that, look how simple that is. Alright, so what I want to do, I just got all these little guys lined up, and I know you see everyone do this. All I want to do is kind of, and you've probably seen me do it, is, oops, take the core out of this one. Didn't even see that, slipped right by me. So what you're going to want to see is just, you know, get them a little beat up. The ones that are cut in half aren't going to break very well. I don't want to get rid of all the oil from the garlic. I just want them to start to have a change in texture so that they're going to get down to that blade and that food processor. I don't know where that went. Good thing I have spare. Right into the sink is where it went. Alright. And it's funny because I always keep soapy water on one side of the sink, and that's where it went. So we're just going to put this in here. And this is a good use for a scraper so that you're... I'm just going to set that aside. Now what I do need to do is rinse my knife because, as you know, garlic really sticks to it. Out of the way. Sharp objects, gone. So what do we got to do now? Let's get my food processor up here. Make lots of noise that my rabbits like. Alright, so the other thing about pesto is if it's all basil, to me it's too strong. So I like it half and half. Well, you want a cup of basil and a cup of spinach. In this case, I cut it with spinach. You can use arugula or whatever, but I think spinach is a really great thing. So if you really smash it into a cup, it condenses, right? So this is really it. So I figured out the other day, because I was experimenting, because that's what I do all the time, is you want about 3 ounces of green stuff. So this came out to be 1 1¼ ounces of basil and 1 3/4 ounces of spinach. So that's a good thing to remember. Your goal is 3 ounces of green stuff. I'm going to get this packed in here. Pick out the good stuff, cut the stems off, use baby spinach so you don't get the heavier stems. Alright, so now I got my garlic, right? Get that in there. Already smells really good, right? And if you watched my show before, you'll know another trick. Not a big fan of pine nuts, as I said. So I've got half a cup of pistachios. Now remember, pine nuts are small, they pack easier, so you're going to do like a rounded half a cup of pistachios. These are lightly salted, they've already been shelved, really easy, and actually they were BOGO at the grocery store, so I was pretty happy. Alright, so what do we got to do? Let's start. I know you can't hear me over this thing, so I just want to do some light pulsing because we've only got the basic ingredients here, right? So, we're ready, let's go. So I've got this like halfway done right now, right? So now I've got a half a cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese, Parmesan Reggiano. And when I took the lid off, I was like overwhelmed with this beautiful fragrance. Made a mess up here. All right, so let's get chopping. Everything looks good. A little pulsing here. Now I've got this pretty fine right now, right? Because that's what a pesto is. But now I need to drizzle in about half a cup of olive oil. So now I got to turn it on and get that olive oil in there. Now, as usual, you gotta scrape it down because guess what happens? It all sticks up on the top. So, got a little spatula here. I didn't want to dirty a measuring cup, so I took the liberty to kind of guess, and because I've done it a million times, and I know kind of what I want the consistency to be. Remember, watch the blades. Blades are sharp. I think I broke it. Just kidding. All right. Pretty painless. This is just my work table, so I got to keep it pretty clean. One thing you want to remember about when you use a food processor, no matter what, I unplug it because I think that's the only way to be safe. I'm going to get it out of my way so you can see. That's an old-fashioned Super Pro 7, which is like an antique, but it is so powerful it'll chew up anything. So what we want to do is we want to get this blade out of here, and anyone will tell you that that's not a fun thing even to find in the sink when you're washing dishes, because they're pretty darn sharp serrated edges. So what I want to do, put it in the sink. Now what I want to do is grab my bowl here. Because like I said, this is a do up ahead of time thing, right? This is beautiful pesto, and it smells so good. And remember, a little pesto goes a long way, right? So this is definitely enough for 4 people. And most of these recipes, people ask me, you know, baking is like this scientific thing where you have to like really know your measurements, because you can't always, you know, half or double things. But with you know, cooking, you want to make more, double it. If you don't like as much garlic, leaving it out is not going to change the consistency or really affect how it works. Use any kind of ratio of green stuff. Experiment. Like I said, you can use arugula if you want. The only thing I do recommend is you get it all out of here, because everyone's going to be licking their plate wanting more. And helpful hint from Heloise is that when I took the cutter out, the blade out, some fell right down the center shaft, so I won't be able to get that. But helpful hint from Heloise says that if it gets too thin, You know, if it's too oily or thin, just throw a little more Parmesan cheese in the mix. This came out really well, so I'm really, really happy. All right. Talk some. Oh, yeah. It's exactly what I wanted. Yeah. Consistency. I don't know what it is. I wish I could tell you, but it was kind of an accident about the pistachios, and I think only because I used it for my Easter dinner, it was 2 years ago, because I want to be authentic and what the rack of lamb would have been, you know, coated with or crusted with, and pistachio. Actually, when I did my little art history work, turned out to be it. That was something that was available. Someone did tell me yesterday that you could do this with walnuts too if you wanted to. I like pistachios, so that's what I would. But and they were on sale. If they were really, really expensive like they used to be, I might think about something else. Anyway, so this is going to go in the fridge, and when I'm getting ready to put this together, I'll be back to show you how I put it together. See you in a few hours. Okay, so my friends are here. I'm ready to put this together. I've had the pesto in the fridge. I just took it out a little bit ago so it would have a chance to kind of get a little warm so it's not real cold, but we're going to have a lot of heat here, so it shouldn't be a problem. So what I need to do, I need to get a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of olive oil in my pan here. It's all about the olive oil, man, with pesto. Ugh. Ugh. Just read there was some report where they're talking about how, you know, manufacturers are allowed to not fully disclose things, say they're 100% virgin olive oil, and I forget what the percentage is. So they actually went to stores and tested them, and I'm talking about like store brands, not like the big brands like that we use, you know, like Thompson or whatever the other one is I use, but the store brand ones. And Costco's actually came out like the best. I thought that was kind of funny. All right, so I got some heat going on here. A little more heat going on here. And so I wanted to do something kind of simple, and this is kind of the same idea I had before, is the asparagus is fresh right now. So if you got something that's fresh, let's go ahead and use it. So I want to get them in here. And it's funny because the bunches of asparagus were huge, so this is like a little more than half. I was like, holy cow, what am I going to do with all that? And I'm just doing up some so you can kind of see. I'm going to kind of tease everyone with this. So I want to get this in a single layer. Let's get this stuff roasted. So asparagus is a funny thing. Love or hate, right? You know, it's like cauliflower and other stuff like that. I think the key is how you use it. And with asparagus, you want to make sure that it's fresh and it's not big stalks. In fact, someone posted a video on or a picture on one of the websites I belong to on Facebook about, you know, when you go out to dinner, you kind of rate the restaurant and talk about the food and take pictures. And I'm so glad someone else commented because the side of asparagus they had, they're like tree trunks. I was like, yeah, it's not good asparagus. That's so woody. I mean, get the chainsaw, right? I think it was a chain steakhouse actually, but it's funny that people get turned off because they don't know. And I, you know, certainly probably never had fresh asparagus until I was older. And you know, when you cut it, don't be shy. The white end, cut it up till you see it's nice, you know, and green. And at the price of asparagus being pretty decent right now, you can afford to throw a bunch away because nothing's worse than that woody asparagus. And I think on the first time I made this, I kind of demonstrated that a little more. I wanted to demonstrate the garlic this time. And so this really just takes about 3 minutes. We don't want to toss it around too much because we don't want to turn it into mush. Try to get some good heat here. This is like, you know, medium heat. This isn't real hot, but we're gonna really try and get some of the liquid out of the asparagus. Get those tops cooked, get the stems apart, and make sure everyone's happy. Food's happy, you're happy when you eat, okay? Now while this is finishing up here, I'll tell you that when shrimp is on sale, I tend to buy it and prep it for the freezer. And for some things, I want to keep the shell on, and some things I don't. Like if I'm making a pasta like this. This is what this really is, right? So it's peeled, but to keep it fresh in a little Ziploc, you know, sandwich bag or any kind of bag like that, is just put a little olive oil in. The olive oil is going to coat it and keep that freezer burn. I do that with steaks too. I mean, you know, just a little olive oil. And unfortunately I noticed my freezer was getting kind of full the other day, so I had to. Had to use up some shrimp. That's one of the reasons I make this. I think I have like 8 bags of shrimp in there. Okay, so these are actually feeling pretty good. And we got to get the shrimp cooked, so that's going to make these cook a little more. So I went into the freezer last night, got these out, and they're still a little more than cold. But let me tell you, they're gonna thaw so quick in that heat. Yeah, these look like beauties. Beauties and the Beast. I was having a discussion with a friend of mine yesterday about it's so hard to believe how people who really don't like fish. And I said, well, it's probably just where they grew up and what they're used to, you know, and I hate to say it, but there's probably a lot of fish that I don't eat. I've walked into stores before and you're like, ooh, something's not right. So if you want to do something really fun for dinner, for when you have friends over, or lunch, this is a daytime meal, make a couple different things. Let people try. Do kind of, I like doing kind of like a buffet thing, you know? That way, if someone really is kind of like not sure about something you're offering, there's another option. Nothing worse than having people come over and they're kind of just pushing food around on their plate. And if they serve it themselves, they can kind of like, oh, I don't like asparagus. Okay, well, so if you serve yourself, kind of pick around the asparagus. It's okay. I mean, might not ever invite you over again, but that's okay. Where do these picky eaters come from? Shrimp are getting really to die for. I kind of got this idea from other family members about just offering a little taste of everything, and it is kind of cool, you know. Open up some good wine and try this, try that, you know. See what you like, what you don't like. And if the people you're cooking for are open-minded, it's amazing. Sometimes you'll be like, I've never had that, and that's really great. And you're like, hey, I succeeded. Most awkward is when you have people that you really don't know, you know, kind of new friends or like a friend of a friend, you know, that tag along and you're like, ooh, how do I keep this safe? Okay, so my asparagus is definitely done. My shrimp is really just seconds away. And the shrimp really got well preserved by being in olive oil. So we're really just making sure all that shrimp is cooked with one last piece of that. Make it look so easy on TV. I don't know how to do it. Alright, so I need to get the heat turned on just a little bit. Here's my pesto that I made earlier. Open that up and just go like, wow, okay, I surrendered. So take about this much. Okay, I'll take about that much, about half. Nice and coated. Oh yeah. Oh. I just want to get it warm. I'm not trying to get everything nice and coated. Like I said, it was in the refrigerator, so I'm just working with it here. So the cheese is melting, everything's getting coated, everything is happy. So last thing, got myself a little pasta here, and this isn't enough for all of it, but this is just enough so I can show you flipping it everywhere. Let me tell you, if you could smell this, you would just be like, where do you live? What's the address? Alright. This is perfect. This is how it should look. It should be green. I could put a little more pasta in there. Actually, there's some pasta that isn't coated yet. Get everything hot. And I did microwave the pasta just a little bit, so it was more than room temperature. Oh. Oh. Alright, so what do we do with this? Well, let me clean up my mess for starters. This is what I think is really cool, just for presentation, you know, when you don't want someone to eat everything. This is just a taste, right? Whoa! tossed in there. Got some asparagus. I want to lay a few shrimp in there. And of course I can't boo here. Oh, y'all cannot believe how good this is. That's a perfect pesto. That is what pesto is supposed to be. I think that if you try this, it'll just knock your socks off. So please, certainly, I want you to subscribe, because people are like every day. It's like fantastic. I love y'all. When I hit my 1,000, I'll really love y'all. But please comment. Please ring the notification bell and watch some of this with all my videos and have fun. And you know, I got a lot out there, a lot of history on these, a lot of fun. But I appreciate y'all. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.